Austin Ekeler. Welcome to the very first episode of Celebrity Entrepreneur Show.
Welcome, man. Thank you for being our first guest.
There we go. Welcome to the first episode ever, not the last, that's for sure, of the Celebrity Entrepreneur Show with James Maslow. I'm David Melzter with Office Hours. James, thank you so much for helping co-create this epic show.
We made it. We've been talking about this for quite some time now. And here we are. Your background, way better than mine. I just want to get that out of the way because we're all going to be thinking it. Okay. But at least new house, been in here for about 3 days, got Wi-Fi, crushing it, got the mic rolling, got a camera. So, the best part about it is that we're just here and we're doing it. David Meltzer, it's good to see you, brother.
Great to see you, and thinking about capabilities is a really important thing, whether it's content, business, or even faith, understanding where people collaborate and then coordinate that collaboration together. And we've wanted to collaborate on a show together because we mesh with our differences, and appreciating those differences, we came up with this idea that my celebrity influence in relationship capital is completely different than yours. My background and skill set, complementary in the entrepreneur side, that's the common denominator. But as far as our skills, our knowledge, and our desires, they are varied. And I think they come together in a perfect marriage that will help to elevate awareness in a spiritual, theoretical, philosophical sense with different people that we both know. And this is probably, for me, the most exciting new show that I have because, James Maslow, you fit me like peanut butter and jelly. Thanks for doing this with me.
Peanut butter and jelly happens to be one of my favorite snacks. It's also part of the reason that I was a chubby kid, but still indulge on occasion. And you're absolutely right. Look, you and I get along swimmingly. We don't always agree. And I think that's part of the beauty because we talk about everything. We do, from politics to life to spirituality to religion to just about anything, everything. And we always find some sort of common denominator and or learn something from each other, or even politely disagree but appreciate a different perspective. So, while you've been a friend of mine and a coach of mine, specifically in entrepreneurship and business and helping me preserve and, dare I say, fatten up the piggy bank, as part of it, I have been, helping you have a sense of humor for the last few years. So we really, there's that peanut butter and that jelly. I don't know which one I am and which one you are, but we'll figure that out in due time.
Well, speaking of peanut butter and jelly, I couldn't start a show without having my favorite guest. And so I'm starting at the top. It's always a mistake that I made when you start with the best guest first. It's hard to compare, but it does attract other people when they find out that your first guest is an incredible entrepreneur. But what I love about him is the same thing I love about you. He's one of the kindest, well-rounded people. I'm a dad and I'm old enough to be his dad. And I don't joke around, and I mean it when I talk about you, James, or Austin Ekeler, that I'll be very proud if my son lives a fulfilled, passionate, purposeful, and profitable life like you two guys. This guy, he's amazing. My heart just sings when I see him on the TV or off the TV. Austin Ekeler, welcome to the very first episode of Celebrity Entrepreneur Show.
Welcome, man. Thank you for being our first guest.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate the kind words as always, David. Nice to see you. And James, looking forward to more episodes of the newest show. Yeah, so looking forward.
We don't screw it up.
I'm glad I could kick it off, man. I'm hoping I can, bring some jam-packed content, the gotta see stuff. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to start with a question. I've been around entrepreneurship a long time, long enough not only to make over $100 million, but to lose it and make it back again. That takes a lot of time. But a celebrity entrepreneur is a new type of phenomenon. And there's a nuance to understanding what it's like to be a celebrity entrepreneur. Austin, in your mind, what's the difference, as you have been in my circles around, the founder of Priceline or the CEO of Verb, and just guys who went to law school, business school, worked on Wall Street, and are investment banking type of entrepreneurs comparatively to the today's celebrity entrepreneur. Where do you see a difference in some capability or advantages of being a celebrity entrepreneur compared to the law school, business school entrepreneur?
Yeah, there are definitely some advantages to both and disadvantages to both. I would say in a place where you have an individual, if you have status, like I've built up my name, people know me, they watch me, they have me on their fantasy teams, they're betting on me. So that comes with a sense of people have an awareness of me, they know my brand, they decide from that whether they want to trust me or they're interested in hearing what I have to say. And so that can get me into many doors that I maybe couldn't have if I didn't have that type of status. So that is definitely an advantage. An advantage on the other side, people that have been in the business world, starting from business, they have the tenacity. They've shown that they've been able to actually go through being a business person, learning the actual skills to be the business person. And for them to get into that same conversation, they've had to improve themselves in the business space, which can be seen as an advantage because now instead of an athlete where you're just opening the door because of status, you're opening the door because of your actual skill in that space. So those are some differences. Some disadvantages is as an athlete, I'm definitely, in tune with overcoming hardship. Absolutely. However, I haven't been doing business or practicing business for 20 years. Me, more like a decade, more like 10 years. But I don't have that reputation where that's what I started doing right as soon as I got to the business space as someone else that is in the business space that is doing. I've been a professional football player, not a professional businessman yet, anyway. So there's are some of the disadvantages from the athlete side, and as opposed to the true entrepreneur, sole entrepreneur side, you don't have as many access to resources. You're going to have to use what you have to get started, which can be really difficult for you to stick in that space and continue to stay motivated.
Really astute observation there, which is as a celebrity, whether it's an athlete, actor, singer, influencer, you will get that access and you'll get that opportunity to get into certain rooms and around some wonderful people and other entrepreneurs and businessmen. But like you pointed out, it's an entirely different skill set to learn. However,
Yes.
the celebrities who do figure out how to tether, how to go and learn and understand business, coupled with the access they have, the exposure that their name and their brand brings, it really is an unstoppable combination. And so that's where David and I started talking about, hey, we know so many people in this space who people know Austin as an amazing football player, but what do they not know about him, about a businessman? So that got us really excited about building this and then being able to ask questions like, what is it that gets you excited outside of football? What if you invested into, whether that's capital, sweat equity, time, that you are working on and want to continue to work on outside of your main craft?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to wrap up even that comment that you had about being the powerhouse when you're an influential person and also bringing the business side. That's not an easy task to do because you have a lot to prove. Because to the entrepreneurs, to the investors, to your circle, you are that football player, that influential type person. So you have to have a track record or some type of proof that I can trust you in the business space. There's a lot of fool's gold that are out there, right? Where it's like, hey, you're great, you're shiny, you're an object, I want to be around you. Oh, but your business, like let me help you, but no, let me just kind of keep you from a distance though. Let me stay around you, right? Where because they want to be around you, but they're not really wanting to invest right now.
Yeah.
And so for us, that's one of the big challenges I've had to face. Okay, I got to continue to prove myself. And you asked, where I've been spending time, continuing to invest, and kind of going back to even my second year. So really had a lot of entrepreneurial spirit from the get-go, getting into the NFL. Really spent a lot of time getting into real estate. Was building up my portfolio in the real estate space. Wanted to scale that bigger, so I started a real estate fund. I actually brought some other players into that. We purchased a mass foreclosure out in Kansas City, Missouri. So I've been building up that. We have 100 and so doors across that portfolio. I've closed that. Then I started seeing that there's a lot of activity going in the streaming space. So I started streaming for a while. I actually started a company called Gridiron Gaming Group, where we had a group of different celebrity streamers, athletes, things like that. We would do big events around Super Bowl, around Indy 500, the Olympics, draft, and so we started doing a lot of those types of events. I have a foundation as well where we give back resources into the community. So we're building weight rooms, we'll put in washers and dryers, school supplies, computers, backpacks, things like that, putting back into the community. Since then, I've shut down Gridiron Gaming Group. Have started a company called Pro Athlete Ventures that was looking to help bring more awareness to athletes' ventures. What are they doing off the field? Did that one for a little bit. Started a company called X Games. So the reason I'm saying this is because I've really dipped my toe into a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different concepts, which has now led me to Experience, where kind of wrapping them all up, which is my app that we're developing in the NIL space. We're actually launching with South Florida tomorrow. So finally got our big Division I school. We have Western Colorado. We have Fort Lewis coming on, Howard University football. So we're finally getting this thing turning. It's been a lot of learning lessons. Learning what I don't know is actually a skill. How to learn what you don't know, because if you can do that, the faster you can do that, the faster you can find success. And so
faster you can fail, right? It really is. The faster you can get those failures out of the way and start finding out what you don't know, and then figuring out what you need to know.
Let me wrap it up with this. But basically, what I've been doing while playing football, mind you, is expanding myself, expanding my capabilities, testing my capabilities, failing, succeeding, repurposing those philosophies I've learned, and then putting it into something else. So you asked where my interests have been. It's been in all of those and in football at the same time.
You know what's interesting, Austin, is I always like to tell young entrepreneurs, it's not the mistakes that create your failures, it's the lack of commitment. And while great athletes, especially like Austin Ekeler, if you know his story and you follow him, you'll know there's no lack of commitment when it comes to Austin Ekeler. And it's one of the things I appreciate most of why I invest in Austin as a jockey, not only the horses that he rides, and encourage other people, which leads me to one of the most difficult things in mentoring successful entrepreneur athletes, is that there's a very difficult relationship that occurs, and it's the relationship with money. And it's something that, unfortunately, I didn't have a mentor in. I didn't ask for help. And you talked about a book I think you should write, which is, how do you learn what you don't know, or what approach do you take about what you don't know? Subtitle, you're either humble or you're about to be. And so when you have a committed athlete like yourself, there's this relationship with money that's difficult, because at first you feel guilty, so you fund everything, and then you realize that's very expensive, and there's a lot of dummy tax involved. But then you get successful, and then everybody asks you, well, why don't you fund everything? And you're supposed to be committed to your venture, but it's not helpful to fund everything. How have you dealt with that nuance, that relationship with money of, I should not have to ask anyone for money, I'll just fund it myself, to, I really need to have other people's money because I don't know what I don't know. And it's not just the money, it's the investor as well that is an asset. I know that's a difficult challenge for you and every other athlete, entrepreneur, or entertainer entrepreneur that I know.
100%. 100%. It's actually come up. Like, I'll have people that will come in as kind of an advisor role to kind of help out or see, and we'll talk through, hey, like the raising. Hey, when are you looking to raise? Are you going to raise a seed? Are you going to raise Series A? We have these conversations. And it's like, well, we have a lot of capital in my Experience right now. And look, we're like really close to being in a space where we have sustainable revenue, right? And so it's like, okay, why not then just put the money in to get it over that hump, as opposed to raising it? And I've actually had investors say that same thing. And it's 100% one of these kind of dilemmas, where it's like, hey, they see you as a millionaire, you made all this money, you have all this, all these resources. Why don't you do that? Where it comes down to what you just said. Well, yes, I do have resources, but what I don't have is the expertise and all the knowledge that comes with having that pool of investors that have been in different industries, done different things, are experts in different segments. And so that's where you have to really hang your hat on in value. Why do you want these investors? Yes, you want investors for money, for more resources to scale the business, scale your company, scale your staff and things like that. But when you're approaching people in a place where you have resources already, you have to be particular with that. And there's an art to that, because you don't want to scare them away and be like, oh, you're just trying to sell it to us because you don't like the idea. Otherwise, you can spend it yourself. Well, yeah, but also as athletes, we want, and people with money, we want to diversify ourselves, so we're not putting all of our money into one thing. We have other investments and money tied up in everything, so it's not solely readily available for our project just because we're getting into it. So it comes down to, what are the expertise you need, and can you get people in those expertise that are looking to.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you can pay an expert, right? Or you can have an expert who is going to pay you or put money into it. Which one of them are going to be more motivated to really contribute and do the job? Obviously.
And let me add to that, because if you know an expert and they wouldn't, and you pitch them, they know your entire IT and everything, and they wouldn't invest into your company, it's like, okay, I need to figure out
something fundamentally wrong
you're supposed to be an expert. You're supposed to be an expert in the avenue I'm going in, and you wouldn't even invest in it. So let's have that conversation. So that's a look in the mirror moment, absolutely. And to each is your own. You can try to go prove someone wrong, but it's probably better off to use someone who's been an expert and kind of take their advice and kind of chew on it for a while and see, okay, are they onto something here that I'm not seeing? Again, learning how to know what you don't know. One of those things.
I want to ask a broader question. We've heard of these celebrities, these actors, these singers, these athletes who make a lot of money and then it disappears. You've heard of those, right? A few of those people have come, made millions of dollars, and then lost millions of dollars. What differentiates the athlete, in your case, or the entertainer, the actor, the singer, really, it doesn't matter, the celebrity? What differentiates the ones who go and figure out another path? What do you think, in your opinion? Because everybody made the same amount of money, let's say. But most of us, most celebrity, most actors, most athletes end up losing it, unfortunately. What's the differentiating?
I don't know if it's most, but I would say a difference. I mean, you hear about the ones that don't. You don't hear about the people that.
It's changing. There's a lot of education now, luckily, and conversations about this. But in many industries, it actually is. It is most, in some, and it is changing, which is a good thing.
Okay. Well,
Just so you know, actually in the NFL, the average player plays 2.5 years. And at one time, Sports Illustrated's article said that 75% of NFL players went bankrupt. That was at one time.
Yeah.
Like bankrupt.
Yeah, and I know that's shifting, but that's what I'm referencing.
Okay. Well, anyway, regardless of the numbers, we can agree on that. What I would say in general is what's the community around that person like? I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. What is the education level of the people around them? What is the true intention? Do they truly have your best interest as an athlete when you're young and you're more exposed to making mistakes? Or do they have the interest of, I want to be associated with you because you're cool, you're the hot thing right now? Because there is a difference. And you can get benefit from those people that, hey, you're the hot thing around you. Yes, but you have to be careful. There's a fine line here that we're walking down. And so what I would say the biggest difference is who's in your corner, who's looking out for you. Are those people in a position where they actually have your best interest from heart, or are they just looking to hook themselves on your coattail and get a ride along? Because it's something that is inevitable if you come into a position of status and money. There's going to be people looking attached because that's how our world works, right? We want resources. We want to be around people with resources. So that's what I would say. I mean, to keep it short, what it comes down to.
Well, David, question for you just along these lines. How would you recommend that somebody in the position, and then the celebrity position that starts to get notoriety, more importantly, starts to make a lot of money, how does somebody in our seat seek out the right partners, the right investors, the right mentors, the right friends?
So what's so interesting is that I lost everything. I have a law degree, business degree, went to great colleges, got a blessing to play for a Division III football team. But nobody was, the minute I started making money after me, it took a long time before people started leeching onto me. So one of the distinctions is how many people go for a money grab when you're a celebrity or an athlete because of the awareness of how much wealth you have, right? Instantly when Austin signed, I knew exactly how much money he was making. Still today, nobody knows how much money I make. And they don't seek as much as they will Austin, even though I may or may not make more money every year than Austin. So I think there's a lot of pressure to take care of people, and they come out of the woodwork. So that was one thing. But the biggest thing is a book that's Austin's going to write, which is surround yourself with the right people, the right idea, how to learn what you don't know in an effective way. Because I lost everything because I didn't ask for help. And one of the things that both of you young entrepreneurs mean to me is that you both have no problem saying, hey, Dave, I don't know about IULs or real estate in this respect, or how to, have a timing and risk tolerance analysis of this investment. Can you help me? Right? Can you help me? And if I just would have had the humility that you have and understood one little nuance, Austin and James too, about this idea of surround yourself with the right people, the right idea. All the greats that I learned from, and I'm now the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, and Napoleon Hill subscribe to, you're the aggregate of the 5 people you surround yourself with, spend the most time with. I have a different opinion. I think you have to look at the subject matter, topic, or expertise, and then you have to create a team for that subject matter, topic, or expertise, and then know what position you want to play on that team, but make sure that your team is the right team to facilitate the position you want to play. So if you want to be the running back on this team, but you're the water boy on this team, maybe you're the owner of this team, and then surround yourself according to your capability and that understanding. So I believe that we can have multiple teams. I like to be the captain of, my own family team, but my wife's the owner. And so I
Are you the water boy of it? That's what I want.
So, I think asking for help and understanding by subject matter, topic, or expertise, forming a team and knowing your place on that team. Not that you may not want to elevate from the water boy to the team manager to whatever position it is, the owner someday. That's fine, but be very aware of the people you're asking help from and giving help to in order to facilitate that trajectory of where you want to be or better.
Well said. Well said.
That's awesome. So you have brain trusts in every category and subcategory. You've got so many circles of 5, is what you're saying, because you pick and choose. It's not like one group of friends or one group of business investors or partners are going to be perfect for every conversation or investment.
Let me add to that, because that's not easy to understand. It's not easy to know. You might get burned before you find out that was the right person. And that's the reality. And living this life is, you go about it. You thought you had everything in a row. You thought you had it lined up. I've even been in this situation with experience where we thought we had who we wanted, thought it was the right fit. It was definitely not. We definitely shouldn't have gone down that path. And a lot of resources went into that. Hey, we learned. It was one of those lessons learned the hard way. And so now I am better because of it. And now we're implementing my learnings going forward because of that. So I think that's a point to add. It's not always, I figured it out at the very beginning. A lot of this is reacting to your actions. And if you never take any actions, then, you'll be stagnant, which is even worse, in my opinion, than going out and, learning the hard way.
100%. Yeah. I mean, trying and failing is far better than never trying at all, right?
Absolutely.
Well, let's bring it home with this question. And, playing college football, even though I didn't play that much, had the most impact on my entrepreneurial career. The lessons that I learned, especially about learning to love what I didn't love or didn't like. Everybody loves the game, even if you're not playing all the time. You love the game, but it's the guys that learn to love to practice, learn to love to lift, learn to love to sit on the bench, learn to love to heal. All the things that are difficult, and I believe that's what makes a great entrepreneur. Austin, what's one lesson that you're going to take away from football that you think will provide you the most value in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, it's really showed me the power of being an expert, and what that actually means. What do I mean by that? So I've been playing football for like 22 years now. And when I was a rookie, I had been playing for a long time, right? 15, 16 years. I knew a lot about football. But my rookie year compared to where I am now is night and day different as far as my understanding of how to be a professional, and how to actually go about that and can sustain that and maintain that, and the things that I continue to learn every single year. And what has helped me now is that understanding of, it's no different from me being a pro in my sport than it is for entrepreneurs being a pro in their level of interest, their field of study. They're pros in that. And so where I am coming into, when I go into a new field, as I'm doing a couple of different projects, I am extremely green, and I know there's a lot to learn. And so having that perspective of, okay, I am a rookie, and that being a rookie means something different to me now that I'm a 8-year vet in the NFL. That's one of the old wise men, so to speak, in the NFL. Also, the work ethic that is translatable as well. Those, like I can give you two. I'll give you two. The realization of what being a pro actually means, and then also that, hey, regardless of what the field that you're in, there's a work ethic that can continue to push you forward that it takes to even use to get into the NFL and maintain that. But it's the same type of work ethic that people like yourselves, people that are having success in their field have. So it's translatable, and it's not rocket science, but it is a consistency and a true grind to get to that true professional level and really compete at a high level. So those kind of tie into each other. But there's always a lot to learn, and to learn from others is the same thing I did in football. I learned from others, learn from my coaches, learn from my peers, and continue to combine all of those different learnings and continue to increase my capabilities, which is why I've been playing for and gotten to my third contract now. So I've been doing the same type of philosophies in the entrepreneurial world too, and it's the reason I'm continuing to grow in that space as well.
This is why I love this guy. He's amazing. I'm praying for a Chargers Commanders Super Bowl because if that happens, I can't lose. I will be cheering on every play, no matter what, with my two favorites. He's number 30 in your playbook, number 1 in my heart. The incredible Austin Ekeler. You can see why everyone feels the way I do. Austin, only the best to you and your gorgeous wife, who I adore as well. Please, till next time, I'll get to see Austin Ekeler. Come join us in Washington, D.C. In December. I'll be on the Aspire Tour. Hopefully, he'll stop by the VIP dinner to say hi, and I'll get to hang out with him. An incredible soul, Austin Ekeler. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Best of luck with everything.
You too. Check out Experience, by the way. It's a great business and a great investment. All right, James, one of my customary office hours office hour traditions is takeaways of the day. I think too many people are entertained by these shows, but they don't get one nugget that resonates with them. I always like to share those. So I was hoping you could give me one takeaway for today.
Well, Austin nailed it with one of the first words that came out of his mouth, which was tenacity. Happens to be one of my favorite words, which is probably why I paid attention to it. But he reiterated in just different words, tenacity at the end, where he was wrapping up his transferable skills. What he learned in the NFL and continues to perfect as a pro in the NFL is this relentless, unwilling to let go, unwilling to be stopped mentality, which is by definition, essentially tenacity. So I think it's just a reminder to all of us, whether we're seasoned, whether we're successful, whether we're just starting out, if you do not quit, you cannot fail. And I live by that every day. It is not always easy. But I just think that it's beautiful, and it reverberates off of him. He clearly has that attitude, and I'm just so grateful that he was able to share some of his experiences with us.
Yeah, what a great first episode. My takeaway is very simple. It's that book that Austin should write. Maybe you should write the forward as well. How to figure out what I don't know. And it's a manner of my favorite quote: you're either humble or you're about to be. And being and doing this show has elevated my humility once again, that somehow I must be doing something right to attract extraordinary young entrepreneurs like yourself, James Maslow, into my life. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to stay cool by hanging out with you and also get enlightened, as you said, with differing perspectives, but great appreciation for one another and respect mutually. I love you, brother, and I look forward to episode number 2.
Much love, David. This has been a pleasure. This is just the first. Hopefully, we are doing this 100 or 200 down the line. But to wrap it up, to just go along with exactly what you're talking about, the more that I learn, the more I learn that I know just about nothing. And I love it because being around you and your circle and the friends and celebrities we're going to be having on this show, it is just an opportunity for me to sit back and continue to learn.
Get it? This is it. Office Hours, the Celebrity Entrepreneur Show with the incredible James Maslow. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
You got it. Remember, be more interested than interesting. We'll be in Irvine tomorrow. Come and join us at our Mastermind VIP dinner. Then around the world, you can go ahead. Irvine, San Diego, Istanbul, Turkey, Washington, D.C., San Antonio, back to Washington, then Egypt. I got all that done. Remember, everyone, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want to know when our next shows are, where we're going to be, just text me, 949-298-2905. Remember, be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. We'll see you next time.